Hello and welcome to the Ice Guy. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Wednesday, November 26th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and Perlo, who is just about to join us as we speak, and ready to break down what is a huge pre-Thanksgiving NHL card here on this Wednesday, where we have 15 games on tap. Looking forward to it. Before we get into Wednesday, let's recap the one game last night, which couldn't have gone better. Sweepage. Sweep that board. Sweep hard, real hard. Get the old curling reference out for last night with that Dallas-Edmonton game, which just couldn't have gone any better. Talk about nailing that game, front to back, top to bottom, start to finish. Boy, oh boy, did we do that last night. Dallas first goal, first period, plus 140. Cash it. Dallas first period, best bet. Cash it. Dallas, Edmonton over by Fecta for me. Cash it. Oh, yeah. And we also had a first period bargain bin special winner last night for those that were on Patreon. We didn't mention it on Monday's show when we talked Dallas, Edmonton, but we did have it on the Patreon page. Sam Steele at plus 550 to find the back of the net for the Dallas Stars. So that game couldn't have gone any better. Absolutely spectacular betting result for me with that game. Dallas putting it to Edmonton last night was one of the more brutal spots you'll see. 7 road games in 12 days for the Edmonton Oilers, and coming off an ultra-satisfying victory over the team that's knocked them out in the Stanley Cup Final 2 years in a row, Florida, to end that trip. It was just a perfect storm for Dallas to unload. And the only disappointment I had is that I didn't get even more aggressive, knowing how really, truly brutal that was for Edmonton, that I didn't go with alternative puck lines and alternative team totals last night on the Dallas Stars. But I'm not going to get too greedy. It was still a great result with that game. We nailed the handicap. We nailed the, what we thought was going to happen. It couldn't have gone better as far as what we expected. So Dallas with an 8-3 beat down over Edmonton. It was ugly. I know Oiler Nation, Oil Country is panicking, about last night. I say take a deep breath. There's a lot of issues with that hockey team. They've still got a lot to fix. But people saying season's over after the loss last night, no. I mean, that was, you've got some work to do. You're going to have to dig yourself in to get out of this, rut that you've been in outside of the Florida win. They've struggled to win games right now. But that's about as bad a scheduling spot as you'll see. You have to give Edmonton some level of, don't get off their back for last night, because that's about as bad as it gets. And you just knew that they were going to be up against it. And boy, oh boy, they were. And plus, Dallas was coming off a loss to Calgary and already in Alberta since Saturday. So from their end of it, it couldn't have been better either. So it was nice to see it work out that way, Alex. It was just, we talked about it Monday. It played out exactly as we thought it might.
Yeah, and you this is what handicapping hockey, what handicapping sports in a season's all about, the highs and lows. You have Edmonton coming into that game off of a high, a big high, getting a win, a team that had been struggling all year long, getting a win and a comfortable win against Florida, knowing the history with those two teams. But then you come home in a tough scheduling spot against Dallas, a team that had been coming in off of a loss, playing better hockey than how they started at the beginning of the year, getting pieces back, most notably Jamie Benn being back and fully kind of looking more comfortable in the lineup. He gets that first goal of the game, gets his 400th goal of his career, and Dallas just rolled with that momentum moving forward. And keep in mind, Dallas has history with Edmonton. Last couple of years being knocked out of the playoffs by that team. There was no letting up for Dallas in that game. If they could have scored 12, 13, 14 goals, they would have. And that was, like I said, just a flat spot for Edmonton where you have to try and string together a better effort. And they did show some life, get some goals. Like I said, it wasn't just a complete whitewash, but you got bounced. And like I said, there's other issues going on with this Oilers team where, yes, as comfortable and nice as that Florida win was, this is still not a team that we talked about at the beginning of the year being, oh, they can get right back and win the West and finally try and make a run for the Stanley Cup championship. This is not that team right now, even with that win. Even if they won last night, this is not that team. This is a bad hockey team. This is a bad Oilers team. And I don't know what changes are going to be needed. You've made changes with the coaching. You've made personnel changes. You had guys step up and step out and have the opportunity to step up when other guys are out of the lineup. You know, now Hyman's back, but no one was able to deliver the offensive production that Hyman had brought with that when you're missing him out of the lineup. He's one of those. He's just as important almost out of the lineup as a McDavid. You know, when you see how Edmonton, how their offensive flow goes, he's such a key piece. And you have to have, it's a team that is so reliant on having all of their parts, the sum of their parts together in order to win. And that's got to be distressing at this point now, because even when you have it all together and you have everybody healthy and ready, you still, you know, not able to roll that momentum from Florida into a better effort here against Dallas at home. I don't know what's going to happen with this team. And at this point now, you wonder, you know, we talk about the American Thanksgiving break. Obviously, it's not the cutoff point for playoffs, but I would certainly be worried if I'm an Edmonton fan. I wouldn't say that this is the end, that we're not making the playoffs, that, you know, but that everything's falling apart. But there's certainly cause for concern long term, and this does not look like a team that could beat any of the top teams in the West in the best-of-7 series right now.
Yeah, there's no question. Like I said, there's definitely, there's a lot of things to be concerned about. Just how bad they look in the D zone. I mean, I'm seeing shit in that first period. Now, the fatigue and probably the road trip coming back that first period home, and you got all kinds of distractions when you're gone that long on a road trip. I get that. But you got guys turning pucks over in the neutral zone. You got defensemen getting caught in the neutral zone, as what happened on the Bastion goal in the first period. Creating a mini 2-on-1 in the offensive zone. It's just like hockey 101 defending. You can't do it. And Edmonton was doing that all over the ice last night. Shout out to Jack Michaels, too. He lost his voice. He's been battling it like me. And just like me, he refuses to take days off. So well done, Jack Michaels, powering through the Edmonton broadcast last night. Perlo, your thoughts on Edmonton-Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, I've been known to shit on Edmonton a lot, but in that spot, nobody's winning in that spot. As simple as that. I don't know if they're going to identify their problem. If they think it's, I don't know who thinks or what thinks or whatever. Fans think it's goaltending, but it's not.
It's not that.
They've got a depth forward problem. Makes the defense look bad. There's nobody to pass to. They don't know what they're doing. They're overmatched. You got, Mangiapane playing too high, Podkolzin playing too high. You can go on and on and on. Their depth is the problem. They were fortunate that they had some high percentages from those guys in the playoffs, but they're back to what they are. This is what they are. Savoy's not ready. He shouldn't be in this lineup. He shouldn't be in any NHL lineup right now. Savoy should be in the minors learning how to play the game. He's certainly not learning from the line mates he has right now. So they're in trouble, yes. But they do have a lighter schedule. There's one thing I got to say. This has been a brutal first month for the Oilers schedule-wise. They're not this bad. They're not. But, I'll probably find some good bet on spots for them in the next month, because they do have an easier schedule. And if they do have all their legs, especially McDavid and Draisaitl, they can win games by themselves. But teams know that if you take out those two guys with this team, if you can find a way to take out those two guys, you've got a really good chance to win against the Oilers right now. They're looking for goalers. They're talking about Binnington. I don't know what they're giving up for that, but I don't know. Anyways, it's funny that all the real backlash came because they lost to Dallas last night. And as sports bettors, we know that's you can't blame the Oilers for that spot. You just can't. That's just a terrible spot. If Dallas was in that spot and Edmonton was playing them, I would have been betting Edmonton. It's just a terrible spot. So.
No question about it. Like if the roles were reversed, it would have been every bit as difficult for Dallas. No question about that. What Edmonton had to endure last night. I just want to shout him out because I saw the comment and didn't get around to mentioning it. Our guy, there he is, Jimmy Murphy. He just did a earlier edition of the eye test with Pierre Maguire from McConnell's Distillery in Belfast, Ireland. Back in the room sipping their whiskey. watching you lads and headed out to watch
Oh,
Liverpool.
nice.
There you go, Liverpool,
Thanks.
the English Premier League team, of course. So there you go, Jimmy. Good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Obviously, spending it over in Ireland. So, like I said, great to see that. Sláinte, indeed. Yeah, I've only got water, but there we go. Sláinte from yours truly. All right. So we made a three-way promise here, the three of us. We're going to keep our analysis brief for these games because we don't want to be here for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. That includes the host. I'm not excluding me from this either. Yeah. I'm the biggest culprit. So with that in mind, let's get down to it. We will begin with the Boston Bruins and New York Islanders. 15 games here to talk about for this Wednesday pre-Thanksgiving NHL card. Islanders minus 160, home favorites, total 6 here in this game. So here's the thing where I stand on this game. I have a small over by Fecta and the draw. Those are my bets here pregame. My concern with the overs is that Sorokin and the Islanders are getting back to playing good defense again, and all of a sudden they're playing, that low and slow, as Alex would like to say, playing good at the defensive zone, which has been, going back years, a staple of the Islanders. Boston's not exactly been firing on all cylinders offensively. So current form tells me this could be under, and it very well could stay under. But the series history with Bruins Islanders is very strong to the over. I do acknowledge Swayman and Sorokin, tonight's two starters, are in good form. So I don't love this over by Fecta. Again, this is lower on the totem pole for me as far as how much I like these bets. But I am on over by Fecta and the draw. Alex, what do you think? Bruins Islanders.
I draw pregame, grab that plus 350, and I'm waiting for the over by Fecta in game, leaning heavier to that first period over. I'm seeing minus 135 to 140 pregame, so we're shooting for minus 110 to 115 a couple minutes into the contest. But leaning more toward that, but definitely liking this draw here plus 350.
All right, good stuff. And Sorokin, like I said, he's found his best game. He has found his top form. He's been absolutely outstanding the last week or two. Perla, what are you liking here, Bruins Islanders?
I get a little bit on the draw because the Bruins do have a lot of heart, but this is a terrible spot for the Bruins, coming back off of some really, really tough games. The Islanders have had a couple days to regroup and get set and get themselves back into form after that really boring Seattle game, which they looked like they had no legs whatsoever. But I think that they're going to be coming balls out here. They want Boston. I like Boston. I like New York Islanders in this game altogether. I'm taking a -1 because I did take the draw. Thank you, Alex, for reminding me of that. I do take, I forget about the -1. So last time I said in reg and the draw in one of the games, I believe it was the Utah game. And Alex is right. It's better if you think there could be a draw, take that -1 so you'd at least push on it. So I'm taking the -1. I like the over, but I like the over in the Islanders side of things. I think that I think Boston's going to be a little dead in this game, and I think the Islanders will keep on pushing, and Swayman will eventually break. Which is why I also because Boston's going to have most of their legs in the first. I like the over in the first period, like you do. That's where I think they'll have most of their legs, and you could see both teams scoring on that one. I think it's going to come out quick, but I think they will die in the second. The legs are going to start to go as the game goes on. So I'm taking the Islanders puck line second period as well for a little bit. I got Islanders team total over 3.5, only for a little because Swayman is playing so well. He could shut it down completely. But that in mind, I haven't seen the number yet, but Swayman over saves is big for me on this one too, as soon as I see it. If it's somewhere in the 25 to 25.5, you play all those, you may not hit them all, but you're going to hit most, and you're probably going to be in good for this game. And like I said, I had over 1.5 first period. I'm going to lay off props today because we got 15 games to go. That's how I'm going to shorten it a little bit.
Now, I'll just throw out some briefly. Blumel and Geeky for Boston, and I like, obviously, Heineman again for the Islanders. I'm going to give a shot with Drouin. Drouin could be playing with Horvat on the top line, it looks like, tonight. Or Barzal and Lee, I should say, on the top line. And maybe that Max Shabanov, too. Max Shabanov for the Islanders had a 2-goal game a couple games ago. They expect a little bit of an offensive punch from him. So, like I said, I'm going to take a shot. I'm seeing all these recent comments in the chat saying Florida is going to get their mojo back. And Florida this, Florida that, and they're starting to win and play great hockey. Well, not going to be in love with what I'm about to say about this next game then. Philadelphia and Florida. We've got Florida minus 180 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. I'm getting a little funky on this card, and we're going to go with some big dogs, and this is one of them with Philadelphia. I like this spot. They're off a frustrating shutout loss to Tampa. Now, obviously, what are we concerned about with the Flyers? The offense. We know they don't always score goals. We know that can be an issue for them. No question about that. But you're going to give me plus 160 in a spot where I expect an A effort after a shutout loss, in a spot where they've played a Florida team that they have played tough repeatedly. You look at recent meetings, the Flyers have been giving the Panthers a real tough game repeatedly going back 2-3 seasons. They already beat them earlier this year in Philadelphia. You're going to give me plus 160 with a goaltender in Dan Vladar that is 8-4-1 on the season. He's actually played very good hockey for this Flyers team, certainly better than Ersson, his battery mate in net. So, like I said, I think certainly Florida's playing great. And Florida obviously bounced back from the Edmonton loss on Saturday, thumping the hapless, pathetic, sad sack Nashville Predators. What was that, 8-3? It was on Monday night. And they're playing some good. You can see the foundation of Florida Panthers hockey is starting to return, even though they've still got, a few key guys out, more than a few. They've still got no E2 Kuhlman, Luostarinen, and Barkov, Kulikov, Kachuk, obviously. But no doubt they're playing better hockey. Bobrovsky, he's always capable of playing a great game. Florida's team is ramping it up. There's no doubt. But when you're this close to Thanksgiving, you're at home, you get a little comfy in your surroundings, and here's Philadelphia on the road, going into Thanksgiving and coming off a shutout loss on the road, playing on the road again. This is business for Philly. This is business for Rick Tockett's team. You almost have that pack mentality where you come together and you say, hey, this is a business trip right before the holiday. And like we often say, it's often good to be on the road right before Christmas or right before Thanksgiving. It often leads to some better performances. So, like I said, again, this is obviously Florida's the better team. I like the way they're playing. Could certainly win this game, no question. But there's enough to like taking a shot here for me with Philadelphia in this one, plus 160. Alex, what do you think here? Flyers, Panthers.
I'm doing something a little different too. I have the draw plus 340. I will grab a piece of Flyers at plus 160, but I have Brad Marchand to get the overtime winner for Florida. This game goes to overtime, Florida's going to steal it. And I agree with everything you're saying about Philly. This is definitely a business trip style game right before the holiday. Go in, get a good effort. But I think this game goes OT, and I think Florida finds a way to get a victory. And so that's the way I'm playing this. If Philly can come out early and bum rush Florida and get the win, I'll have the dog in pocket. But if this goes past regulation, I think all the momentum rides with Florida. So I have Brad Marchand at 65-1 to get the overtime game winner and the draw along with the dog. A little different, little kind of a different three. Won't have that too often. But that's the way I feel about this. Philly needs to win this within 60 to get to the victory. Otherwise, it could be troublesome. And we look at Florida getting the overtime win.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but one of the Florida props at plus 800 I'm kind of interested in is the antagonist, the shit disturber, AJ Greer. He's actually scored in like 2 of the last 5 games for the Florida Panthers. He's had chances. He's plus 800. It's not bad at that price. He started to, like I said, make an impact at the offensive end. Perlo, what do you think? Philly, Florida.
I mean, the value is definitely on Philly here, and it's certainly a Philly spot. There's sort of was with Philly and Tampa too. I don't think they're very happy with the way they played in Tampa as well. So I do think they could come barreling out here. And if I'm going to take Philly at first, I'm probably going to take them first period. I think they can surprise Florida in the first period. So I do like Philly first period. However, if I think Philly can win this game, do I think it's going to be an over? And my answer would be no there. I think if they do win this game, you're looking at an under type game like 3-2, something like that. Something like that. I can't see Philly outscoring Florida if Florida decides to wake up. If it's going to be Florida, it's going to be an over. It's going to be a Philly, it's probably going to be an under. And I'm going to take that shot that Florida is now really all that coming in a little bit soft here on Philly, and that Philly will take it. So I'll take a money line as well for a little bit. But what I really like is I think it's going to be tight to begin with. I think Florida will hold Philly off for the first 5. Philly will probably score late in the first, I think, something like that. So I'm going to take no goals first 5, and I'm going to take the under 6.5. Either way, I think this is going to be tight. If Philly's playing as hard as they can here, what they do is they get hard on the stick and they make it very difficult. And Vladar, a lot of people are talking about this, has been playing excellent. So my favorite bet in this is a prop, and that's Vladar over 24.5 saves. One way or another, Florida's going to wake up and start shooting. Can be assured of that. And Vladar's playing excellent. I think 24.5 is a low price on that. So that's my best bet for the game. And those are just little bets here and there because honestly, it's a tough read. However, the value's on Philly, so I'm going to throw it on Philly.
Good stuff. Yeah. Florida last year was a huge high volume shots on goal team on home ice. And I know Top Cheddar, our good pal, friend of the show, has mentioned that many a time. But this year, not as much. They've had some games even at home where they've had less than 20 shots. But, when they're at their best, they're going to get 30, 35, 40 shots on goal on home ice. So is this one of those nights? We will.
Philly's not a very good shot suppression team either. So I imagine they'll get it one way or another.
All right, Toronto and Columbus. We've got even money, minus 110, both sides here. The total sitting at 6.5 across the board. All right, obviously with the Leafs, the injury report is obviously paramount for this game if you're going to bet it, because obviously this has been a walking wounded team for weeks. We have some good news, though, with Toronto. Jake McCabe's fine. There's a bit of a scare with him against Montreal on Saturday, but he's fine. He's going to play on the blue line. Brandon Carlo's still out. Chris Tanev is still out. Anthony Stolarz is still out. But everybody else looks like they're back tonight up front. Matthew Nyes, Hungry Nyes, he's back with Austin Matthews and Nylander expected to be on the top line tonight. Nicholas Waugh, he is back from a multiple game absence for the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. So some good news there up front. They get both of those guys back here in the lineup, which is great to see. And really up front, they're about pretty much healthy again. Matias Maccelli is a healthy scratch. I think that's a message being sent from Craig Berube that we need more from you. So that's interesting that he's not going to be in the lineup here for this game tonight. But yeah, like I said, finally back to just about full health up front, this Toronto Maple Leafs team, which is great to see. Scott Lawton, that's the other guy back, of course, as well. So like I said, they've got pretty much a full complement up front, and now they're just missing Carlo and Tanev still on the blue line, as well as Stolarz. So Joe Woll, of course, in net for the Leafs. It was a mercy pull, really, for him against Montreal. They were terrible in front of him that night. Jet Greaves will get the start here for the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight in this game. We're not betting Toronto overs for now. We got off it. I know the Montreal game went over, but the Toronto-Columbus game last week in Toronto was a 3-2 game. It stayed under. The Leafs are still singing from the same songbook, where they're basically trying to really focus on being good in their own zone, fixing what's been ailing them defensively. And I would think they're going to take that approach after another spotty effort when they gave up the 5 goals in the loss to Montreal on Saturday night. And like I said, we did see kind of a 3-2 tighter checking game with the Blue Jackets and the Leafs the last time these teams faced off. 3 of the last 5 meetings have gone past regulation for the Leafs. Columbus has been a massive draw team. 6 of the last 9 for the Columbus Blue Jackets have gone past regulation. So my only pregame bet here in this game is the draw with the Leafs and the Blue Jackets. Well worth a look. I think I was on the draw last week with Jackets, Leafs. Yes, I was. I was on that draw. Jackets, Leafs in Toronto last week. That game that went to overtime, and Fantilli won it for the Jackets in overtime. Now, I know he scores a ton in Toronto. This game is in Columbus, but I'd still think you got to look at Adam Fantilli. This guy has just become a Leaf killer here over the last few seasons for them. Alex, what do you think here, Toronto, Columbus?
These are 2 teams that are hot also to the second period over. Looking at the charts with Chris Otto, so I'm targeting all things second period over. I do have a piece of the draw plus 340, but I have second period over 2 minus 105 at MGM. Second period over 2.5 plus 156 at FanDuel, and second period both teams to score. Also at FanDuel got that plus 114. So looking for those 3 plays in the second period along with the draw at plus 340.
Lean Toronto. I definitely lean Toronto. I would not bet Columbus in this spot. I lean Toronto because they're getting the guys back. It's an adrenaline boost to the dressing room, getting all these guys back. They lost to Columbus at home last week, so a little short turnaround revenge spot. But A, I want to see what they look like with all the players back, and B, maybe I can get a good price in game because I get the feeling they might be trailing still at some point, and if that's the case, then I'll look to get Toronto plus money. What do you think here, Perlo? Leafs, Jackets.
Did you mention that Marchenko is out for Columbus?
Yes. Oh, sorry, I did not. Yes, that's obviously a huge loss for Columbus. Marchenko. Yep.
Yeah, that has me on Toronto here. He's sort of the straw that stirs the drink there, especially for Fantilli passing and stuff like that. They also end up having to mix up their lines, so they haven't played with each other for a bit and stuff. I think
he's a point per game player for them, 22 and 22 for them for the Jackets this season for Marchenko.
Yeah, he's everything for that team. If they make the playoffs, I really think he should be considered for MVP. But I do like Toronto here. Now, everybody out there, I think my record with Toronto is probably about minus 15 units. So take that with a grain of salt. But I think with everybody coming back in here, the only thing about everybody coming back is quite often what will happen is the other players will go like, whew, and they'll sort of like forget that they're supposed to play as well. Not like they were playing great to begin with. But I think Matthews and Nyes in that line can do some damage here. I would parlay those guys together. I am going to take Wood for a goal. He's up on the top line. He's been scoring. Larson for an assist has been excellent. And what did I have? I had one more here. Oh, another. It's to me, it's a great goalie saves day. I like Greaves over 24 and a half saves there too. He should be getting a lot of rubber with Toronto having that boost, getting their new players and stuff like that. So I think they're going to shoot a lot. And even if they do win this game, I think it's going to be like 30 to 31 shots. I don't think they're going to score 5 on Greaves. So I really like that one probably more than anything in this game. And I have the draw. I also had the draw. I didn't think I mentioned it in the Philly-Florida game too. I could definitely see that being a draw.
Yeah, draw. Definitely like this draw. I mean, how can you not? They went to overtime just a few days ago. 6 of 9 for Columbus, 3 of the last 5 for Toronto. All have gone past regulation. So definitely interested there as far as the draw that is concerned. Let me see as far as what's Matthew Nyes. Yeah, plus 230 in his return. Why not? Why not? We'll sprinkle on that just a little bit.
And I did have it in my notes that second period over Alex. So, yeah, I'm on that too. For sure.
I mean, yeah, Chris Otto's charts bear that out. I mean, super strong numbers to the second period over for both teams, of late. So, yeah, there's no denying that might be the way to target a low-scoring start, and then maybe you can jump on that live over or just bet second period over pregame. You could really do either way. Looks like we're going to have a Shenikov's got value now because they're putting him with Fantilli and Voronkov tonight on that top line. So maybe it's a time to strike the iron here with Shenikov, getting that bump to the top line for Columbus here tonight in this game. All right, Rangers and Hurricanes. We've got Carolina minus 190, home favorites. Total here, 5.5, shaded to the over. This is Carolina back home from I guess you could say kind of a disappointing end of the road, more than kind of. You lose to Buffalo like that to end the road trip. Not what you want to see, obviously, if you're the Hurricanes. And before that, they obviously had the shootout loss to Minnesota. They did beat Winnipeg 4-3, but 2-2 road trip, still not bad, but ends with a sour taste in their mouth for losing 4-1 to Buffalo at the end of it. So now they return home. 2 days off though, so this isn't that bad of a first game home off a road trip spot. It was only a 4-game trip. When you look at the travel, Boston, they go over to the central time zone for 2 games against Minnesota and Winnipeg. Then you go back to the east for Buffalo. So it's not a arduous trip. It's not Edmonton 7 games in 12 days. Let's just put it that way. Not even close comparing the two. So I think Carolina will be relatively fine here, play a pretty good game. I don't like betting against Carolina off a loss. You guys know that. They've been very good off a loss all season and going back years. So, I do think they win this game here, but obviously it's minus 190. You're looking at the goaltending matchup here. Igor Shesterkin for the Rangers, Freddie Anderson for the Hurricanes. Hurricanes still without Kochetkov, so it looks like it's going to be Freddie Anderson getting some more starts as a result. And, of course, they got Brandon Bussey still up with the team as well as far as goaltending is concerned. There's good news for the Rangers. Vincent Trocheck will play. He returned from injury last game, and boy, do they need him because he's that important. And JT Miller, who did not play last game, is traveling with the team on this trip to Raleigh after not playing the last 2 games, and he is a game-time decision. With a guy like JT Miller who wears his heart on his sleeve, if he's a game-time decision, I'm willing to think he's playing. That's kind of the way I see it. So I'd be surprised if JT Miller's not in the lineup here for the New York Rangers tonight. One thing that I noted here with the Rangers and Hurricanes too is, especially with the series history, we know Carolina's dominated it, 5 straight wins. And of late, that is. Now, it was the Rangers at one point, but Carolina's kind of turned the tide. But these games that have been played here in Raleigh between them, 7-3 Carolina, 4-3 Carolina, 5-3 Rangers, 4-3 Carolina. So we've seen the games here be a little bit more wide open, a few more goals scored. And keep in mind, there's a Carolina team that, while the blue line has been injured most of the year and they've got most of their guys back, they're still missing their premier shutdown defenseman in Jacob Slavin, who still remains out. So I think this is an over by Fecta spot. Over 1.5 first period, over 6 or over 5.5 full game, I should say, in this game. It's an even stronger angle, the over by Fecta, when Carolina's at home off a home loss. This is at home off a road loss. But still, I think when you see Carolina off a loss playing at home, you still see them. I've seen this play out so many times over the years. Carolina is so good at getting out to the 2-0 lead first period at home when they're off a loss. It's crazy. It's like they just bang. They're right on the board right away, and then they get another one quickly. So that's why this has been a good betting angle over the years. At home off a loss for the Hurricanes, the over by Fecta, first period over, full game over. The games in Raleigh, Rangers, Hurricanes have trended over. I like Carolina team total over 3.5 in this game, because if you also look at the recent meetings in Carolina, Carolina scored 4 in a majority of them of late. So I like them over their team total as well. That's a better way to bet Carolina as opposed to obviously the absurdly high money line price. You can get Carolina a nice cheap plus 100, plus 104 actually at FanDuel with their team total. Carolina over 3.5. So I do like that. So there you go. Canes team total over by Fecta. That's what we're looking at here in this game. Alex, what do you think? Rangers, Hurricanes.
So I already bet the over 5.5. It's down to minus 122 at FanDuel. Shop around and grab that, because like I said, there's some 6s and some 5.5s at a higher juice. So grab that pregame, and I'm going to wait for that first period over. I'm going to get plus money. I'm seeing a minus 126 up to 130 pregame. I'm waiting for that to drop to even money or better, jumping into that. But I like goals here, so just sticking with the over by Fecta.
And there we go. Energized talking about it. Yeah, here we go. Keandre Miller finally. Getting a chance.
I am on that as well.
New York Rangers.
750. Yeah.
Finally getting to play his old team, the New York Rangers, finally healthy and in the lineup now, getting to play the Rangers. Yeah, I don't mind the Ranger team total over either. I could see them getting to 3 goals as well. And Jonathan noting that Freddie's given up 3 goals or more in all but 1 of his 6 home starts. So there you go. At home, he's given up 3 goals a lot. So, yeah, that's not a bad option. This could be one of those games to play both team totals over. And chance they both hit. What do you think here, Jonathan? Rangers, Hurricanes?
The Rangers team total over, I understand because of Anderson, but this is Carolina team that plays for their players. That's what makes them so great. And they're going to be playing for Mills here. They're going to be playing. I don't think the Rangers are going to see much time in the defensive zone in this game. This is going to be a straight out Carolina style possession, offensive possession.
I could see 40 to 19 shots for Carolina tonight.
Absolutely.
Like that.
So that's why, again, back to the saves props again. I'm going to Shesterkin over saves because he's going to see a ton of rubber today. Miller over shots is a big one for me today. And I got same thing as you, Hurricanes puck line first period. I got them to score over 1.5 goals in the first period as well. I got that 5.5. I wish I would have got a minus 122. I didn't see it. I got a minus 130. That's a great price. So I love that. I love everything in this Hurricanes team total over. I think Hurricanes are just going to smash the Rangers here today. That's my lean on everything. Take them every period if you want. I don't care. I think the Rangers are in a tough spot here. They're going to be Carolina's going to be angry, and they own the Rangers. They love beating the Rangers. It's like their favorite thing to do. It's besides losing in the second round of the playoffs. Besides that,
Yeah, I wonder if that still fuels them against the Rangers, like a couple of years ago with that tough series. Because you're right, ever since that playoff series, they've cleaned the Rangers' clock. I mean, they've dominated this series.
And keep in mind that was after years and years of where the Rangers were getting wins and Carolina dominating in those games. We talked about it for ages on this show about how Carolina would have a 2-1, out shooting them by a 2-1 margin, 2.5 to 1 margin, and then the Rangers were winning 3-2 in overtime, 4-2.
Yeah, that high shooting percentage back then. Yeah. I don't see that happening here, though. I think this is going to be a slam spot for Carolina.
Very possibly could. Put it this way: 5-2 Carolina would not shock me here in this game. It would.
That's about what I figure. Yeah,
it wouldn't shock me. Good spot. They just play well after a loss. It's like almost become like clockwork for this team. I do like Trocheck to score, though, for the Rangers. I would look at probably, for the Carolina Hurricanes, Jackson Blake's been heating up lately, playing with Stankoven and Ehlers. Obviously, with the Keandre Miller sprinkle, we'll get involved with that as well here tonight. All right, Calgary, Tampa Bay. We've got Tampa Bay minus 190, home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Lightning coming off the shutout. Obviously over the Philadelphia Flyers the other night. We'll see if they can continue that recent pretty strong play from this team overall. Vasilevsky obviously has been in very, very, very good form of late here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. There's no question about that. So, you look at this matchup, and certainly the goaltending from him has been rock solid. We'll see if that carries over here into this game tonight against the Calgary Flames. We don't have goalie confirmations yet, but I think we can assume it's going to be Vasilevsky. Why wouldn't it be? With obviously nobody in the NHL playing tomorrow, so it's no back-to-back for anybody. You would think this is going to be Vasilevsky, and that Dustin Wolf will get the start, or at least expected to get the start here for the Calgary Flames tonight. But, yeah, Vasilevsky, 4 straight starts he's won, and he's allowed 3 goals and 100 shots during that time. So, yeah, it's been, this is Vasilevsky at his best right now after a sluggish and slow start. So, this is another spot where I could kind of see it with, Tampa Bay, final game before the holidays. They've won 4 in a row. Little dopey tonight is the word. Calgary coming in here with a little momentum, 3 wins in a row against Buffalo, Dallas, Vancouver. I don't think it's the worst Calgary spot to take a shot, but I just don't know if I can do it with Vasilevsky and just this scintillating form right now against any opponent right now. Tampa has won 2 in a row, but I will say this: Calgary has won 4 of the last 7 meetings overall between these two teams. So Calgary has had some success. I might do pizza money on Calgary, but pizza money is probably all it's going to be because, like I said, Vasilevsky's in great form. But I wouldn't be shocked if this is Tampa Bay kind of playing a little down to their opponent tonight. I could clearly see that possibly happening here in this one. It's their only game versus a West team over a 13-game span. It's a spot right around the holidays. I look for home teams to often kind of, not have their A game. Calgary's got a little momentum that they're riding. They haven't had much this year. They're finally riding some, and they've played some solid hockey these last 3 games. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to take a shot with the Flames. I might, but I'll keep it small. Alex, what do you think? Flames, Lightning.
I just like the draw here, plus 350. I think this could be kind of a crazy game. To be one that maybe tune into and grab some live plays as well. But the only thing pregame is draw plus 350.
All right, the draw for Alex. Perlo, Flames, Lightning.
I'm the same with you. I also said that I'm going to be looking more towards the Flames as the schedule goes. The only thing is that this really isn't where the soft part of the schedule is coming for the Flames. It's just a spot where Tampa Bay could have a letdown. Kind of thought that against Philly. One thing that they seem to be doing is protecting their goaltender really well. Tampa Bay, obviously, and Vasilevsky's playing fantastic. So if the Flames do win, I don't think they're going to win with a lot of goals. I think it's going to be very tight. So I did take the draw, and I did take no goals in the first 5 minutes and under 6.5. That's my favorite play here. You can get that at -110 at FanDuel. Whoever's going to win this game, I don't see it going to 7 goals. Maybe the Flames have been scoring a little more lately, but now you're going against Vasilevsky. I mean, scoring against Vancouver, who was it in a bad spot, or wasn't in a bad spot? They came back from the road trip. Dallas. Scoring against Dallas was a little flaky in a look-ahead spot because they had Edmonton. That's a little different than going against a Tampa Bay team that's been shutting everybody down right now. So, no goals in the first period, under 6.5, and I won't worry about the side. I'll put a little bit on the Flames, a little bit on the draw, and leave it at that.
Yeah, a little bit on Nick Paul, of course.
Nick Paul, yeah, I got Paul there written down here.
And Coronado's really rolling for Calgary. If I were to look at someone for Calgary right now, it would be the sniper, the one legit sniper I think they have, Matt Coronado, who's certainly been finding the back of the net.
Maybe
lately.
Coleman against his old team.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good one. And Coleman scored the last game too against Dallas, another of his old teams. So there you go. Yeah. He's an old teams. He scores against his former teams. Actually, he was never with Dallas. He was never with Dallas. It's just he's from Texas. That's why I keep thinking
from Texas.
From Dallas. From the Dallas area.
Yeah, from that area. No, but yeah, this one makes sense too. Yeah, maybe look at Blake Coleman. All right, St. Louis and New Jersey. New Jersey -140. Home favorites, 5.5 the total. I like the draw here. East versus West. Blues are playing close games. Blues aren't winning a whole lot, but they're playing close games, for the most part. Their Ranger game was close, 1-goal game again the other night. You look at before that, 1-goal game against the Islanders. They've gone past regulation 4 of their last 8 games. Talked about all the close games New Jersey's played. They had a 5 straight draw stretch for a bit. Last 4 haven't, but 2 of those were decided by 1 goal. St. Louis is off yet another loss, just 3-7 their last 10 games, 1-5 in their last 6 games, but they continue to play their best period of hockey in the opening period. They've been absolutely phenomenal in the first period, and now it's becoming a bit of a thing. There was supposed to be only a 1-game bet, St. Louis first goal of first period and St. Louis first period money line. My intention was only to take it against the Islanders because the Islanders were coming home off a very long, successful road trip. But I bet it against the Rangers as well. It cashed. They got the first goal, first period, and first period money line. And I believe now it's 7-1-1 for the first period for St. Louis in their last 9 games. I'm running it back for the 3rd straight St. Louis Blues game. In addition to the draw, I'm also on St. Louis first goal of first period at a plus price, and also St. Louis first period money line here in this game. And I think I might dabble in the over 5.5 too, simply because we know it's going to be Markstrom. Now, Markstrom was phenomenal in the 3rd period, but overall still for the bet against Detroit the other night, but still for the better part of the last few starts he's had, he's still been fighting the puck, hasn't been great. I could see the Blues being able to find the back of the net, but obviously with this Blues defense, which has had their issues all season, you could maybe see New Jersey scoring a bit too. So at the 5.5 number, we'll grab a little bit of the over. The only thing I don't love about the over is the series history trending under. That does bother me a bit, but I am on the over, smaller bet. Draw. The best bets for me in this game are the ones I like the most are the Blues looks. First goal, first period, and first period money line St. Louis. Can't trust them for the full game, though. Not with what we've seen. They're first period magnets right now, first period magnets, and then they fall off. What do you think here, Alex? St. Louis, New Jersey.
Yeah, I grabbed draw. I grabbed first period over -115. I'm not waiting for a live, but you can add, obviously wait or add on a little bit extra once that crosses into plus money territory. I got both teams to score in the first period. They're at plus 180, but I will grab a little piece of that Blues first goal, first period right there with you at plus 140 as well. Definitely liking the early looks more than anything else because it didn't get to that over 5.5 looking at the under history, but I think we have goals here early and definitely leaning with that draw. So draw plus 340, Blues to score first goal, first period, along with first period over, and both teams to score in the first.
All right, Perlo, Blues Devils.
Yeah, Jersey's never been, hasn't been a good first period for a long time. But this does feel like the spot where they might be able to get their energy going in the first period. I don't know. I'm going to just, for the fun of it, this is kind of just for fun, I'm going to go back to what we hit against the Rangers, and I'm going to take the Blues 1-0 in the first, exact score, all of those sort of things like that. Just a fun little bet. Actually, I'm going to, because it's plus 500, I agree with, I kind of agree that New Jersey might score back in the first period here. So I'm going to take a little on 1-0 and a little on 1-1 exact score. So I'll go both. You're still plus money if you hit. But one thing I really like here is one thing New Jersey is absolutely just as good as they are at scoring in the first period. They are just as bad at doing anything in the second period. It just so happens New Jersey is extremely good at second period. So I got New Jersey money line. All right, sorry, did I take money line? No, I took money line at minus 140. It's not a bad price for a second period team. I've got that. And I also took the minus 0.5 at plus 145. And I took the -1 at plus 340 on at BetMGM. So I put a little bit on all three. That's my favorite bets in here. Besides Meyer over shots or Hischier over shots, I should say, at plus 122. That's a premium today, boys and girls. So St. Louis is allowing a lot of shots, and Hischier's shooting a lot. So I got that one. I got a whole bunch of other props. I might not put them on Twitter today either, because I got Thanksgiving and all that stuff like that. So you'll have to run back and watch the show, or you can watch my show from last night where I talked about it a little bit.
That's actually a good idea, because you should, if it's the holidays, I'm doing a show on the holidays. And if I'm going to do a show on the holidays, I damn sure better have people watching. So there you go. That's kind of like
exactly. Come back and watch
it there. Right. No doubt.
Would you consider, based on, like you said, that discrepancy was the second period, would you maybe look at even grabbing New Jersey on the three-way in the second period? So you can get that plus 150 on the three-way.
I said that, minus 0.5 three-way, yeah. I also had New Jersey in regulation. I forgot to mention that. I think New Jersey wins this game. I just can't trust safely. So. But yeah, I did. Thanks, Alex. I had minus 0.5 second period as well.
Hopefully the Blues do what they did Monday night. We'll all be happy. Blues win the first period. Devils win the game. And everybody's happy. Hopefully that's the case. I like Holloway for the Blues. Braden Shen, the captain, going to take him to score. And on New Jersey, Connor Brown. Connor Brown scored last game. He scored a lot for some reason against St. Louis in the past. Multiple goals against the Blues. So, like I said, a Connor Brown for me here tonight. Nashville, Detroit. Detroit, minus 150. Home favorites. 6 the total here in this game. We need more fucking from them, the Nashville Predators, and we didn't get it the other night. 8-3 against the Florida Panthers.
Maybe we did. We just didn't see it on the camera.
It's a disaster. And this is another team like Edmonton. It's easy to blame UC Saros and Useless on and the other guy in net, but their defensive play it's also struggling. It's also not been very good of late for the Predators. So this Detroit team total over, pretty straightforward. I don't want to take Detroit at this price, minus 150, but can I trust them to score 4 goals? I think so here in this game. They remain without Edvinson, and looks like City of Comfort, crazy motherfucker named JT, is day-to-day for the Detroit Red Wings here for this game. But I think they get 4 goals here in this game against the sad sack, lowly Predators. Talbot and Saros projected in net for this game at the moment. But, that's it for me. Just Detroit team total. Over 3.5 here. You can get that at plus 110. Pretty good. Actually, plus 116 at FanDuel. So good price on that. Alex, what do you think? Preds, Red Wings.
I went Red Wings in regulation at even money. You can get that at FanDuel and MGM. Like you said, there's no way I'm backing the Predators right now. Detroit should win this within 60.
Yeah, I agree with that. Detroit in regulation is a good option. You trim down the juice, no doubt. Perlo, what do you think here? Nashville, Detroit.
Yeah, well, after my quote ballsy Nashville would beat Florida, but I think
it wasn't the worst spot to take Nashville.
I think I've had enough of
they're just so bad right now. They couldn't even take advantage of it.
Yep. They're terrible. I got Detroit over 3 at minus 148, and then I got the 3.5 as well. I'm going to go up to 4 as well. Why not? I could see them scoring 5 on 5 here. They need to get it back going again. I didn't know Comfort was out. I wonder who's going to take that center spot. Might be good for a goal prop. I got in Reg too. Reg minus 110. I thought that was a cheap price, and I took the over for the game. However, I thought Gibson was going to be in with Talbot in. I'm not so not so heavy. I'm leaning more now that Talbot's in. I'll take Nashville team total under if I can get a good price for it. I think. And you might as well take Detroit on the puck line if you're going to play both of those. So I'll put a little bit on the puck line too.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, the team totals are always, you're always concerned with the bigger favorites when you take team total that maybe they only score 2 or 3. That's always a concern. There's no doubt. But I went back and looked. When Detroit's won at home, the last 3 times Detroit has won on home ice, they've scored at least 4 goals each time. So
yeah,
that gives me faith they can get there, especially against this Nashville team. So, yeah, I do like the team total here for the Red Wings in this one. All right, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh minus 120, home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. Sabres, obviously the Calgary game was pretty bad, but, you take that out, and they've had a nice run. They've won 4 of their last 5. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what happened against Calgary. That was terrible, but you take that out, they beat Detroit on the road. They beat Edmonton at home. They beat Chicago 9-3 at home. They beat Carolina 4-1 at home on Sunday. So let's give the Buffalo Sabres. I want to back them too energized. I lean Buffalo. I would only take Buffalo here. But I got to see it on the road from them. This is a 1-7 road team on the season, the Buffalo Sabres. So it's kind of like a prove it. Prove you can beat someone on the road, kind of for me, before I'm ready to step in and back them. What I will do is I'll take Buffalo at a bigger plus price in game if they fall behind. If Pittsburgh's up 1-0, I will take Buffalo at some kind of bigger plus price. I just don't want it pregame because I do worry Pittsburgh does get the first goal. You have a Penguins team that's coming into this game, I think, looking for a better performance after having a bit of a slump here the last 2 games offensively, losing back-to-back home games to Minnesota and Seattle. So I could see Pittsburgh getting the first goal, and then maybe I'll jump on Buffalo in-game at a better price. But for me here, I'm going to dabble in the over 6, minus 120. I do have that pregame, the over in this game. I'll look for Buffalo live. And that's about it. Alex, Sabres, Penguins.
It's a complete live game for me, so check Patreon for this. Like I said, I missed the 6, so the 6.5. I will have to wait and try and grab that live. Like I said, look for Buffalo. Looks live as well.
All right, good stuff. Burlow, what do you think here? Buffalo, Pittsburgh.
I grabbed that over 6. I also got over first period too. I think Buffalo will come out hard. I like the both teams to score first period over.
3 straight overs in the series, I should point out as well. Buffalo versus Pittsburgh. Yep.
Yeah, I want to take Buffalo here. I'm the same as you. I really want to take Buffalo here because I said I was going to fade teams coming off of like Pittsburgh coming off that Swedish trip and all that, and I think Pittsburgh, if you stare at their lineup over and over and over again, and you wonder how the heck they did it. I think what they were doing was they knew after that trip things were going to get tough. So they just out energy teams all the way up until that trip. And I think it's sagging now. I think they're getting tired. You got old.
By the way, I should point out too, Perlo, this is UPL versus Tristan Jarry. Yes, that's right.
Jarry's first game. Give me team total over for the
Who knows what we're going to get? This ain't Dominic Hasek and Tom Barrasso.
We can probably get a 3 on the Sabres. I think they can get 3 against a rusty Jarry.
Yep.
So I'll take the team total over 3. I imagine that's a decent price at this. Maybe it's not. I'll have to look at it. But if it's a decent price, I'll take the team total over 3. But the over is the biggest bet here. Over first period, both teams to score, and over 6 is my main plays on this game. I'll bring up props when they're props that you normally wouldn't see. Timmins has been going way over his block shots, and you can get over 1.5 block shots at minus 115. I think that's an excellent play here. Pittsburgh does shoot a lot, no matter what they're doing. They shoot a lot. So, what did I have? Tuck anytime goal. That's probably a normal one. And Quinn over 2.5 shots. He's been shooting finally. I don't know what they finally got him to do because that's the only thing
he's got a great shot too. He should use it.
Yeah, he does. He does have
that guy. I like his goal prop. Speaking of that, come on within. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Jack.
He's been playing the most confident I've seen him play in a very long time. So and he's shooting lots. So like at least 3. So give him. I think it's plus 150 or something like that for him for over 2.5 shots. So I'm going to give that a shot.
Yeah, Quinn the Eskimo. In this case, Jack Quinn. Yeah, plus 3. Plus 320. Yeah, I like that prop. He scored in back-to-back games, got a little momentum going. I like it. There we go. Good stuff. All right, Winnipeg, Washington. Washington minus 150, home favorites, 6.5 the total. So Winnipeg, we've talked about this with the Jets a little bit. Now, they did get shut out by Minnesota in their last game, and the game did stay under, but the unbeatable, impenetrable object that is Jesper Wallstedt right now was a big part of that. I still think without Connor Hellebuck, this team's going to be pushing to score more and maybe give up a few more, obviously, with the Eric Comrie, Thomas Milic combination. So certainly I agree with this total getting pushed up 6 to 6.5, and Washington started to get their offense going. So I agree with that. I do like over in this game 6. I got 6.5. I lean that way still. I still like it, but I like Winnipeg in this spot. I like Winnipeg in this spot at plus 130. They beat Washington twice last year in the swept the season series against the Capitals, one in Winnipeg and one in Washington. Comrie and net. Get this team on the road after two, home losses in a row against Minnesota and Carolina. They lost to Carolina Friday. They lost to Minnesota after that on Sunday. Get on the road, foxhole spot, close to the Thanksgiving holiday, business trip, 2 losses in a row, bounce back, play a good road game here tonight, give yourself a chance, and let's not forget, they catch a break here because Charlie Lindgren is going to start in net for the Washington Capitals, who's not been as good as Logan Thompson this year, and his record's not great, 3-4. He's got a losing record in his 7 starts this year, Charlie Lindgren. So I like taking a shot here with Winnipeg in this spot. Get on the road, come together after 2 home losses, and I think they'll play a real tidy, strong road game tonight against a Capitals team that's kind of feeling themselves now. They've had a nice little week, pretty much. They blasted Columbus 5-1 the other night. I definitely think Winnipeg's live to get back on track here tonight. Like them in this spot. I like the price. They beat Washington twice last year as well. So, I like them here. Plus 130 over the total as well. At 6.5, I still endorse it. What do you think here, Alex? Oh, and the draw as well. This is dog and draw for me. Alex, what do you think? Winnipeg, Washington.
That's the only thing I could come across was the draw, and I actually grabbed a plus 360 early this morning. They dropped down to 350, but I still like that. Still reasonable play. Comrie, like I said, never played against the Capitals before. And Lindgren, decent numbers against Winnipeg. This could be one where he goes back and forth. I would definitely lean more toward the over. It's one where I maybe look and try and grab a better price with a 6 and a better number and price, I should say, with the 6 in game. But other than that, pregame for me is just with the draw.
All right, good stuff indeed. And yes, Neil Pionk out for the Jets is a big loss. Even though I like them here, I still do like them. But you're right, they will miss Neil Pionk again. One of these really become a really good defenseman in this league the last year or two, especially some of these playoff performances. So he will be missed. But I think that does help the over for sure. His absence for the Jets on the back end. What do you think here? And by the way, it was 5-4 Winnipeg, that game in Washington last year between these two teams. So I'm hoping for something like that. And it was in overtime. So I'm hoping for that again. That would be beautiful. We'd hit the draw. We'd hit the over. We'd hit Winnipeg. And that's what we're hoping to do. Perlo, what do you think? Jets, Capitals.
That's just a price play. So it's a good Winnipeg spot. I don't really like Washington in regulation with Winnipeg coming off of a poor home stand. That is rare with Winnipeg. So I think they're going to be pissed here. So I like Winnipeg first period too. I think they're going to come out hard in the first period. A little bit on the over first period. I got a 6 at minus 120.
Jonathan Taves had a great quote too. I want to point out about this game. He said, "We got to start playing harder for Eric Comrie. He deserves that." That's what he said after the Minnesota game. So I like that quote coming into this game.
Yeah. And with Pionk out, I mean, Washington has been scoring. It seems like a for sure play here to take the Jets. But if I'm going to take them, if I think they're going to win, and I am going to take the over, I'm also going to look at the team total over for the Winnipeg Jets because this is probably going to be a 4-3 or something like that, and the draw. But Lindgren and net for Washington, they have been playing a little better in front of them as of late, but I don't know how long that's going to last. And they usually don't play very well in front of them. So Winnipeg could win this handily. For Washington, sort of in a kind of a flat spot. Really don't care about this game probably as much as the Jets care about winning. So yeah, like the Jets, like the over, like first period.
6-5 sticks out in my head for some reason in the final.
That could be the
6-5 in
final.
overtime. I just not sure who wins it, but I don't know why that score just rings out to me.
If it's going to be that many goals, then probably most of them come in the third period. That's I would say that would just be back forth.
Yeah, Perfetti, I think might be worth a look as far as props for Winnipeg. You're right; he's been shooting the puck a lot more. I mean, I have to bet Jacob Chychrun because it's 3 games in a row with a goal. He's just shooting like crazy now from the point, and you're still getting almost plus 400 for him to find the back of the net. So definitely interested in those and a couple of those props for this Jets and Capitals game. All right, next up, Minnesota, Chicago. We've got Minnesota minus 135 road favorites, 5.5 the total here in this one. Of course, when it comes to this game, this was a big part of this was who's in net for Minnesota because I have no interest, none, zero, of going against Minnesota with the brick wall, Jesper Wallstedt in net right now with what he's been doing. But we are going to get Philip Gustafsson here tonight for the Minnesota Wild. Not that what's troubling you, Gus? What's troubling Gus? Not that he can't be capable of playing well, and his numbers are still pretty solid. 2.79 goals against, 902 save percentage, and he is off a shutout against Pittsburgh, and he probably feels like, hey, this Wallsted's getting more ice time, getting more playing time, getting more starts. I need to step my game up too. So it's a nice little one-upsmanship battle going on in the crease right now in Minnesota with Gustafsson and with Wallstedt. So I'm more inclined to maybe look at Chicago now, but I'm not going to. I like the way Minnesota's playing right now. Even with Gustafsson in net, they're certainly playing some real strong hockey, both ends of the ice. They're shutting things down. They've held teams to 2 goals or less for the last 5 games, all of them victories, 5-game win streak, shutting out their last 2 opponents, the Jets and the Penguins, entering this game tonight. They're just playing real well. And Chicago, we hope this stop the bleeding spot for them. They need it to be. They've lost 3 in a row. The Seattle game was unfortunate. They played 2 great periods. Should have put that game away. They didn't. They let Seattle back in it. And then the unfortunate, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which was a joke. And, of course, Seattle gets the game-winning goal. And then they followed it up getting thumped in Buffalo. Tough spot. I kind of forgive them for it. And then the Colorado game, that's the hottest team in the league right now. And they only lost 1-0, so I forgive them for that. But at some point, you got to put a win together. It's been a tough schedule, back-to-back against Buffalo. Colorado, not easy. Minnesota playing the way they are tonight, going into tonight, not easy. But you don't want this to balloon into a long, elongated losing streak if you're Jeff Blashill and the Chicago Blackhawks right here. So I expect a pretty good game, expect a pretty competitive game. Minnesota has owned this series. I want to point that out. 9-1 the last 10 games. This I lean under because Spencer Knight's in net. We know he's good. We know he's capable of keeping the other team off the scoreboard. And we know Minnesota as a team has kept the opponent off the scoreboard of late. So I lean under. 9-1 Minnesota the last 10 meetings. Not going against them. Nothing on the side. Lean draw, but there's other draws I like. Nothing really strong pregame for me here. Alex, what do you think? Wild Blackhawks.
Yeah, you got a Minnesota team that's riding hot right now. They've won 5 games in a row. They've gone 8-1-1 in their last 10. They've won 15 of their last 16 meetings against Chicago. Like you said, it's not Wallstedt tonight. It's Gus, but Gus has still been playing fairly well. Give me Chicago here to score the first goal in the first period and break that 12-game streak at plus 140. Give me the first period over, 1.5 goals, minus 120. Give me the Hawks to win this game at plus 115. And I also have a bargain bin coming from this contest as well.
All right, Chicago to bounce back. Certainly, like I said, I like the way the schedule adds up for Chicago here. They've lost the 3 in a row. They haven't played since Sunday. No travel because that was a home game against Colorado. So they get to really, really, really bear down and try to fix what's happened here these last 3 games. It's a good Chicago spot. I just don't want to fade Minnesota right now. Perlo, what do you think? Wild Blackhawks.
Yeah, of course, Spencer Knight's going to be. It's really hard to take a team to beat Chicago with Spencer Knight right now in this spot. I know it's Minnesota. It has been playing well as of late. They have been playing against weaker goalies though. But what I think you brought it up really well that this does look like an under. I mean, if Minnesota does win the game, I think they're going to be able to keep Chicago in check, and they're going to have a hard time scoring on Spencer Knight. I'm going to take Spencer Knight over saves. And I lean Chicago, but I'm going to go back to the one that I've been taking with unders that's been paying a lot. No goals in the first 5, under 6.5. Whoever wins this, I don't see 7 goals. I don't see it. So that'll be my main bet here. But if I were to take anything here, I would probably take a look at Chicago. But I get what you're saying about Minnesota. Maybe even a draw. Draw wouldn't be bad. It's not normally I would take in a game like this, but Minnesota's been playing super tight, and they probably will be able to find a way to pot one. And they're going to play tight against Chicago. I almost for sure they're going to play tight against Chicago. I don't think they're going to run and gun with them. Not with Spencer Knight in net. They're looking to win this like 2-0, something like that. So
yeah,
I'll take the
I agree. The draw could be like the draw could hit. The only thing I don't like is that Chicago hasn't had many overtime games of late, and the series history really has not had many head to head with the Wild and the Blackhawks. Not saying it can't. It does feel like it's a tight game, kind of like Colorado Chicago the other night. But like I said, there's just can't bet every draw on the board.
This isn't the same Chicago team
better than this.
History.
Yeah.
Right, and it's interesting. It's funny because we usually have the chat talking about fishy and trappy lines. But yet you look at Minnesota with the history that they have against Chicago, they're only laying 130 to 135 here in this spot. Like I said, the books recognize that this is a completely different Chicago team. And they're also recognizing that this is a Wild team that, yes, as good as they've looked in November, we can't forget what happened in October. This team can go up and down. They've been a roller coaster kind of team. We've seen seasons like that before with them. So.
Like I just think Bruins, Islanders, Leafs, Jackets, Jets, Capitals, those 3 games off the top of my head, they're just stronger draws for me than this game. Not saying they can't hit in this game, the draw, but I just like the draw.
Chicago wins is probably Wild outshoot them, and Chicago still wins. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
I do like Danila Yurov one more time. One more time, we're going to celebrate a goal prop. Don't stop a dancing. Yeah, Danila Yurov for Minnesota after getting his first the other night. So we'll ride the wave there with that. Ryan Green, too, for me, Chicago. It kind of feels like a night for maybe him to get going. San Jose, Colorado. Look at this price. Colorado, the unstoppable force right now. Minus 400 against the San Jose Sharks. Total 6. You know what's funny? Is that Colorado's still laying at home around the same price they've laid several years in a row against San Jose when playing them at home. When San Jose this year is clearly a team on the rise, team improving, this young group. So, but I get it. You know, they can't price Colorado high enough right now with this epic run, you know, that the Avalanche have been on. And it's epic. I mean, 16-1-5 overall in the season. 1 regulation loss in 22 games. That is unbelievable for Colorado. What they've been doing, 9 straight wins entering this game tonight. That being said, in San Jose was one of the 6 teams this year to beat Colorado, and they beat them 3-2 in overtime on November 1st in San Jose. So San Jose played this team very well. We'll see how they fare here tonight. They're off a 3-1 win in Boston, entering this game against Colorado. And one thing I want to make note here with the Colorado and San Jose series, I'm just going back, looking at it last year. San Jose in the game they only played in Colorado once last year, but in that game, they scored in the first period of that 7-3. It was a bad loss, 7-3, but they did score in the first period. Jonathan's already hit on it with us that this is that angle that has not shown up much this year. Minus 400 favorite, where we look at the underdog to score a goal in the first period, the big dog, you know, to maybe shock the big favorite early. And why has this angle been so good over the years? Well, when you think about it, when you're a minus 400 and you're playing a weaker team, when you're a favorite of that price range, you take it light on the opponent, especially early in the game. And that's when oftentimes the big underdog can score and get on the board. So I definitely like San Jose to score first period. I like the thought process here of that. San Jose has been, a team that's been able to get opening period goals throughout the course of the year. You're getting them here at a plus. As far as first period, minus 105, about as cheap as that at some books for San Jose to score a goal in the first period here in this game tonight. So I do like that. San Jose goal in the first period. I don't know if I trust San Jose to win the game. But boy, oh boy, it's such a huge price. I'm awfully tempted to take the Sharks, but maybe Colorado losing in San Jose on November 1st to this Sharks team gets their attention enough to maybe not, take this team for granted, and they shouldn't, because San Jose is a lot better. We see it. They've still got a ways to go. There's still elements of their game that have to get better. No question about that. Their D is still pretty light as far as depth is concerned. They haven't always gotten contributions from their bottom six offensively. They really have relied on Eklund and Celebrini and Smith and Wenberg and Kurashev, the top six. That's another thing, too. They haven't always gotten punch from the bottom six. But, they get Mackenzie Blackwood, not the red-hot, piping-hot Scott Wedgwood, who's been so good that even Canada's put him on their, invitation list potentially for at least a tryout for the Olympic team. That's how good Scott Wedgwood has been this year for the Avs. Blackwood, great in his last start, but, we need to see more. He hasn't played a lot this year. And, of course, Askarov, you can't ask for more than him, from him than what we've seen. He's been absolutely outstanding here. He is on a 3-game win streak, 5-1 in his last 6 starts for the San Jose Sharks, and he's given up 2 goals or less in 5 of those 6 starts. That's how good Yaroslav Askarov has been of late for the Sharks. I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world at a price like this to take a shot with San Jose, but I like them even more. First period goal, minus 105. Alex, what do you think here? Sharks, Avs.
Let's get weird. Give me the Sharks to score in the first period. I got minus $1.10 earlier today, but give me the dog in the draw here. I got Sharks plus 310 on the money line. I grabbed draw plus 450. You have to add at least a little piece of the draw when you talk about that kind of
plus 450. Come on, you have to. They went to overtime in San Jose. They did. Yeah. Yep.
And then I also grabbed a goal in the first 5 minutes of the game at plus 154, and that can come from either side. If it's going to be a Colorado Avalanche, pun intended, then we can see them score early. I wouldn't be shocked to see San Jose jump out and score early in the period. But like I said, so those are smaller plays with the draw and the goal in the first 5 minutes. The larger looks are Sharks first period goal and Sharks money line plus 310.
Yeah, like I said, this is a great watch because I can't wait to see Askarov against this vaunted team. It's a great matchup here. Perlo, what do you think? San Jose, Colorado.
In their own barn. I mean, my first thought on this is Colorado likes to play around and stuff in games like this. They know that the season's a marathon, and same as what they did in Nashville, what they did in Chicago.
Remember, this was Askarov Blackwood in San Jose, that November 1st meeting, and Askarov won. Keep that in mind.
And Askarov won. Yeah, I think Colorado wants to win this game. You can't do anything with Colorado. You can't take a minus 1.5 or anything like that. So I do agree with the Sharks scoring a goal in the first period, though. They're definitely gonna come out hard. And I think Colorado wakes up. I don't think they're gonna lose in their own barn. It all depends on how many goals the Sharks get and how many they decide to allow them to get. So I'm going to take Sharks to get a goal in the first period, and both teams to score in the first period. And I might just leave it alone in this game. I might just leave it alone after that. That draw at plus 495. If it's was it 475 or something like that?
Yeah, 450. 450.
I got 450.
Yeah. 450. Yeah, you can't. I mean, I'll put a sliver on that. But honestly, I think Colorado just won't let the Sharks put them in their own barns.
That's one of those situations where if it hits and it goes to overtime and you didn't bet it, you're going to be pissed.
Yeah.
So just
maybe you'll put some pizza money on the Sharks. Heck, if I can put pizza money on Nashville, I can do it on the Sharks, right? All right, let's do that. I'll put a little bit on the Sharks too. Plus 400, you kind of have to, or plus 300.
Yeah, I'm gonna too. I mean, like I said, I'm not with we're not unloading the mortgage on it, but like I said,
anytime Colorado wants to wake up and win this game, they will. That's the problem. That's the problem. I think it's a good live betting game. If you see Colorado starting to really play, maybe take them for 2 goals in that period or something like that. Yeah. But it's Askarov. That's
And
easy.
again, those are going to be tiny bets to everyone. If any shark money line and draw bets going to be very small. The one that I like the most is them to score in the first. I like Colin Graff. I like Colin Graff for a goal prop for San Jose. Yeah. He scored last game. He's on the second line. I think that's definitely worth a look here tonight for the Sharks in this game. For the Colorado side, I'm going to go back to the well with a guy that's been on the second line lately. Values there. He scored a couple of times. Ross Colton for the Colorado Avalanche up on that second line for them. All right, Montreal, Utah. Utah minus 140 home favorite, 6 the total in this game. Utah obviously at home has played their best hockey here at the Delta Center. Montreal snapped their really rough skid losing streak against the banged up, injury-riddled Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2 in their last game. I don't know if that's a sure sign that they're back on track, though. We'll see how they fare here on the road in Utah. Utah still 7-2-1 at home. They've won 2 straight on this homestand, the Rangers and Golden Knights beating them back-to-back. And finally, the offense is rolling again for Utah. 8 goals in the last 2 games combined. So my only bet here is, come on, you guys know what I'm doing. One of the best team over streaks going. Montreal 11-1 to the over in their last 12 games. Over 6, Montreal, Utah. Alex, what do you think? Montreal, Utah.
Draw pregame, and I'll be looking for the over. Try to grab a 5.5 in game. But this, I think, should be a fun one. This is one of those other games where I feel like could be back and forth, and it, may need overtime, even a shootout to figure out who's going to win it. But this feels like this could be a fun pace. It could be a good late contest.
Yeah, no doubt. And plus the series history, too. 2 of the last 3 meetings have gone to got hit the over, I should say. Last year in Utah, it was 5-3, that final score. So I like the goals here over. Again, 11 of 12 Montreal games have gone over the total. We've been on a bunch of them, as you guys know, if you've watched this show all season. Perlo, what do you think? Canadiens, Mammoth.
If this isn't over, I'll be so disappointed because I'm going to watch this game. I mean, you got 2 young teams. Montreal finally got off the schneid. I don't like going against teams that break long losing streaks. So, and Utah is such a good team at home right now. It's hard to take that. So give me over. Both teams to score first period. I might even put both teams to score second period. I just think this is going to be a high-paced game. Ain't nobody playing defense in this game. No freaking way. Dobish has been here nor there, shaky. I mean, Vejmelka hasn't been absolutely fantastic this year. Throw it out, pawn hockey, go. This is over for sure. Team total over for both teams, maybe. I'm throwing it all on that. Yeah.
Dobish has been better than. Yeah. Yeah, Dobish has been better than Montembeault, but that's not saying.
Oh, absolutely,
been awful. But Dobish has also not been as good as I think he was for parts of last year.
No.
Yeah, I also don't.
You got a better read on him this year. You got a smart coach there in Utah. He's going to have them well coached on what to do with Dobish. So the only thing that has me a little bit concerned is that Utah is the number 1 team in the NHL for shot suppression. Yeah, that's the only thing that has me a little concerned for any over here and has me more on Utah. But minus 140, I think that's just a little unfair for the Canadiens at minus 140. It's the price that keeps me away. If it was more of a pick, I might be on Utah.
Yeah. I'm trying to look, too. They've been on a real big over streak on the road, too. I think 6 straight Montreal road games have gone over the total this year. And all but 2 of them have had less than 6 goals. So, yeah, the over to me, yeah, it was clearly the choice for me in this game. As far as props go, yeah, Logan Cooley bumping the slump. I don't argue with riding the hot hand. You know how it works. He has a breakout game like that the other night, and sometimes he can go on a bit of a roll and a bit of a heater from that point onward for a talented player such as him. Bolduc, I'm going to stick with him on the second line, and Kapanen. There's Kapanen on the second line, Bolduc on the top line with Suzuki and Caulfield. So those are a couple Montreal props that I'm looking at here in this one. All right, Ottawa, Vegas. Vegas minus 180 home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Ottawa losing to LA. Like I said the other night, not definitely. I took Ottawa, but it was I was leery a little bit that might be the spot that LA ends up getting the job done, cooling off Ottawa a bit. Ottawa still had a good start to the road trip, though, 2-1 to begin. We'll see if they can bounce back here against this Vegas Golden Knights team that did finally snap a home losing streak the last time they were at home here against the New York Rangers 3-2. They're off back-to-back road losses to Utah and Anaheim. Just have not been able to get on track. I mean, they win 1, lose 3, win 2, lose 3. That's been kind of the pattern here for this Vegas Golden Knights team. We'll see if they can bounce back off 2 losses in a row. They have definitely dominated the series, 9-1 for Vegas against Ottawa, and they've won 5 straight here at the Fortress at T-Mobile Arena over the Ottawa Senators. So, I'm not laying it with Vegas, no way, but I'm not bullish on jumping on Ottawa here. Even off a loss, I'd take Ottawa before I take Vegas, but I don't know if I want to jump on Ottawa here with Vegas home off 2 losses. What I will jump on is what I'm going to take here. First period over, Ottawa, Vegas. Yep, it just continues to keep on rolling. I like the full game over too. This will be a bifecta, but this is a 80-20 split for me. 80% of this is on the first period over. Alex, what do you think here? Ottawa, Vegas.
So this is my 8th and final draw of the card. I did grab this at plus 340, but we'll be grabbing that first period over in game. Just looking for a little bit better of an adjusted price.
All right, the draw here in this one. Vegas has had 3 overtime games in their last 6. I could see it. Not one of my favorite draws, but I could see a case for it, no doubt. Perlo, what do you think here? Sens, Golden Knights.
Yeah, Ottawa's just played too many tough games here. I think Vegas wins this game. They've been playing a lot of tough games. It's funny. Alex kind of popped in on the show last night and said there's like six draws in the game, and in this card, and the back of my mind, I was like, so that means about 8 or 9. And sure as heck, he said there was 8. But I'll take a little bit. You got to respect the Ottawa Senators the way they're playing too, though. I mean, they're playing with a ton of heart. I just think it's a really bad spot, and same as the LA spot. They try really hard. I think they're going to be able to have less ability to try here with Vegas coming home. I'm going to take Vegas in regulation. Vegas team total over. That's pretty much what I'm going to do. I just think Ottawa's going to run out of legs here. I'm going to look at the second and third period plays for Vegas as well. It sucks because I really like Ottawa, and I really think that I'd love to take them at plus 160. I love the team as far as their heart and everything. They found out that Brady Tkachuk's going to come back here in the next game. Maybe that'll give him a little bit of lift. So I'll take him. I'll take a little bit of a draw too.
Less podcasting, more playing, Brady, and finally we're going to get to see him.
Yeah. That's going to be nice to have him back. I got Ottawa to win the Atlantic, so I'm hoping he comes back and smokes. So, I took a bet on it. I don't know if it's going to happen. But I like Vegas a little too much here. I think it's just a sour spot for Ottawa. So. Vegas in regulation for me.
All right, liking Vegas in regulation is Perlo in this game. A couple props that I do like. I like Zetterlund for Ottawa has scored in back-to-back games, so we're going to ride the wave there with Fabian Zetterlund, who scored in consecutive games for the Ottawa Senators entering tonight. And I have to take, certainly with close shave Barbashev, take him, and take, of course, Braden Bowman. With Eichel and Barbashev on that top line. You're still there's a couple books that still have him out there at plus 300. Hard to believe with what he's done, Braden Bowman, but you can still get plus 300 at Betway Sportsbook, for example. So like I said, great price, and he continues to chip in goals in 3 of the last 4 games, obviously, for the Vegas Golden Knights. He's fit in here very nicely, and that's true what Hal's saying about the penalty kill for Ottawa. Has had their problems, has had their struggles all season long. And when you look at Vegas, the Ottawa penalty kills 69%, Vegas power play 23.3%. That definitely could be advantage Vegas there. The power play, can be dangerous, and this could be the night it gets going. Ottawa's penalty kill has had issues all year. And as I mentioned, Allmark is in net for the Sens in this game, and it will be Akira Schmid getting the nod once again for the Vegas Golden Knights. All right, we got Vancouver, Anaheim. Anaheim minus 160 home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. I mean, there's no case for me for backing the Anaheim or for backing the Vancouver Canucks right now. There's just, that was a spot for them to win against Calgary. Calgary's on a back-to-back, and you lose 5-2. You're defensively miserable again. Mistakes, odd man rushes. You give up a short-handed goal. How do you allow that? When you're trying to get back into the game. It's an absolute mess defensively for the Vancouver Canucks. And now you're without Thatcher Demko, and you're without Kevin Lankinen, who's out for personal matters. and they have decided that they are not going to go with Yuri. I thought it was for sure going to be Yuri Patera, but it is indeed going to be Nikita Tolopolo here for the Vancouver Canucks. It was going to get the call up tonight and get the start. 1-4 with a .901 save percentage in Abbotsford is not exactly confidence building when you look at those numbers for him down in the American Hockey League. So again, we're going to have to see it before we believe it here with Nikita Tolopolo here for the Vancouver Canucks getting the start here. That being said, Lukas Dostal, a scratch tonight for the Anaheim Ducks. So Peter Mrazek will be in net for them for this game tonight. And obviously, we've talked about this, another team that's just been an over machine. 12-1 in the last 13 games for overs in Vancouver Canucks games. This is going to be over trifecta for me because I'm going first period over, both teams to score in the first period because Vancouver's been good scoring in the first period. There's multiple games where they've gotten on the board early. The problem is they've conceded goals very early in games as well. So, yeah, over trifecta here. First period over, both teams to score first period. Full game over 6.5 as well. And I took Anaheim's team total in addition to all of that as well. Anaheim team total over 3.5. Minus 120. It's actually still at Bet Rivers a really good price considering how horrific the defensive play has been for Vancouver and the fact that Anaheim should and has easily in most games on home ice been able to score 4 goals this year. So I like that Anaheim team total over as well. Alex, what do you think? Vancouver, Anaheim.
Now, yeah, looking at the numbers of Nikita Tolopilo, they've been decent in Abbotsford, the last couple of years and getting full work, but this season's been a little bit rough. Yeah, like I said, with Vancouver's defense, the way it's been right now, this could be an ugly night for him. Give me Anaheim team total over 3.5. Like I said, I got minus 125 with that. I can also grab an over 4 flat at plus $1.10 at Bet MGM. The first period total, that's too high. I'm seeing minus 176 at FanDuel. So you could try and wait a little bit, but I don't even think you're going to even get enough time waiting in game to grab a decent enough price. Just attack all things Anaheim. Team total over 3.5, team total over 4.
All right. What do you think here, Perlo, Vancouver, Anaheim?
Anaheim in regulation, minus 1.5. Anaheim, everything. Just anything you can think Anaheim, just do Anaheim. This Vancouver team just found out like they have this awesome management that comes up and says shit at like the best times ever. They're talking already about trading off some of their veteran players and stuff like that. Like you at least let them have some sort of a feeling that they can do something. No, this team is a disaster right now. And Anaheim, I think, is just it's a well-coached team. I like the team. I don't think they're going to show any, the pity to Vancouver here. That goaltender, the goaltender they're putting in, I hit the numbers down there in Abbotsford. I mean, that team's horrible right now. They're all up in Vancouver. So those aren't really all that horrible. But
I went to the pronunciation guide. It's Nikita Tolopilo. That's how you say it.
Tolopilo. So it's just Anaheim everything in this game. That's take Lacombe for over 1.5 shots and a goal. He's been shooting like a son of a gun. He's due. Seneke, there's a whole bunch of guys. It's just parlay that whole top line, everything. Now watch to say this, Vancouver will come and win the freaking game, but I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, maybe they're bolstered by the young kid getting a start and they play, if they dig in defensively, it'll be the first time they've done it in a long time. Let's put it that way.
I don't think they just have the guys. I don't even think Adam Foote knows they don't have the forwards that can play defensively, so he just tries to win over games. So over is definitely the play.
Yeah, 12 of 13 is now the run for Vancouver with these overs. It's been pretty good, pretty fun cashing in on them, and we'll look to see more of the same here tonight in this game. A couple of props for me on the Anaheim side of the equation. Gauthier, Seneca. Yeah, Beckett, Seneca. We'll take a shot there as well. All right, last game. We've made it to the end. Pretty good, 90 minutes, and now we've hit our last game of the night. Dallas and Seattle. We've got Dallas minus 130 road favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Tough back-to-back spot for Dallas, but it's not like they were put through the meat grinder last night against the Edmonton Oilers. That was a pretty easy, we can pace ourselves kind of 8-3 victory last night over the Edmonton Oilers. And when you look at it, I looked at the box score. of that game last night. It was a great game. Jamie Benn, congrats to him, his 400th goal. Rope Hintz. Nate Bastian had a great game. He was all over the ice. My bargain bin special cashed in. Sammy Steele, even one of my favorites, called up from the not called up, but made the team after a couple of years in the American League, putting on the Ritz. Justin Ritskovian scored a goal last night for the Dallas Stars. But I made sure I looked at the box score and the time on ice last night for this Dallas team. Heiskanen only had 23 minutes, not bad. It was not like a 25 to 30-minute night for him on the back end. Esa Lindell ended up having, 23 minutes, not bad. All things considered. None of the forwards, for the most part, played more than 18 minutes. So all things considered, they didn't run their players into the ice, Gulletson did last night. So that's a good sign. They're probably fresher than you would think for this back-to-back here tonight against Seattle. That being said, off the big high of the win against Edmonton, the team they've got playoff history with, could mean this is a bit of a tricky game for them. They have had no problem with Seattle. I will say that. They've won 8 straight against Seattle, 9-1 for the Stars against the Kraken in the last 10 head-to-head meetings. However, Seattle's been off since a 1-0 shootout loss to the New York Islanders on Sunday to end their road trip back home after a 4-game trip. So you could say that the spots cancel themselves out, right? Dallas on the back-to-back, coming home off a 4-game Eastern road trip here. If you're Seattle, this is a draw I'm going to sprinkle on here in this one, simply because when you look at Dallas, they've had a few overtime games. And when you look at Seattle, they've gone back-to-back past regulation entering this game. The last 2 games of that road trip went to OT. So this is a game where I'm going to watch. Let's see what Dallas looks like first period after last night. Let's see what Seattle looks like coming back from the 4-game roadie in the Eastern time zone. So, but the draw pregame is all I got in this one. Alex, what do you think? Dallas, Seattle.
Yeah, the only pregame bet I have is Miro Heiskanen to get a goal. I got him plus 550. And bargain bin range, but it just missed out on being the actual bargain bin. There's 2 other plays that I like more. So Miro Heiskanen anytime goal is my only spot, but I'll watch this one live, being the last game of the night, maybe add something live.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Joey Decord in net for Seattle. No surprise. He's back now and healthy again. And of course, back-to-back Casey DeSmith expected here for Dallas. What do you think here, Perlo? Stars, Kraken?
Now I'll put some pizza money on Seattle. It's a bad spot for Dallas. That's this is like an Alex. Don't care about this game. Don't want to watch this game. Just whatever. I don't care. I don't really care what happens. This game doesn't intrigue me at all. I mean, Seattle's got a good record for a reason. Stars just came off of, even though they thrashed Edmonton, it was like what they highlighted on the game. So might as well take Seattle for a little bit somehow. That's about all I got on that one.
Yeah, that might be the best bet in this game. Jason Robertson. I know it's not a great price, plus 135 for a goal prop. Yeah. What can you say? He's scored in 7 straight. He's almost been automatic finding the back of the net here for the Dallas Stars. The way you control it's totally automatic. Yeah, that's been Jason Robertson. Pointer Sisters. What a great duo they were. Pointer Sisters back in the day. Great music they had. Great harmony. No doubt. As far as that's certainly something you got to bet right now. As far as prop is Jason Robertson right now. I think there was one on C. Oh yeah, of course. I couldn't believe I was about to let this slide without mentioning it. Mason Marchment. Not only is he on the top line with Beniers and Everett, but against his old mates, the Dallas Stars. He's friends with a bunch of them still, so I'm sure there's no animosity or anything. He had a great run in Dallas. He still is friends with a lot of his old teammates on that Stars team, but still wouldn't mind getting on the board against them. And at plus 450, I think it's worth the shot for Mason Marchment to find the back of the net here for Seattle tonight. All right, good stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Our last show, we're off tomorrow, obviously, with no NHL for U.S. Thanksgiving, but we will be back Friday. And note the start time, noon Eastern on Friday. Early. We're going to go with our weekend start time for Friday because, like I would say, all but 2 or 3 of the games are day games. So we want to get you the bets, the picks early. And plus, we want to watch the damn games. So we want it done earlier as well. So there you go. Noon Eastern start when we return, and we're back with you on Friday. make note of that. Yeah, Alex, go ahead.
I just want to make a note too. With today, there will be timestamps. As soon as we get off of the air, I will make sure to go back and try and cut timestamps for each game. And we will also make sure to have on Patreon plays up early for those early games, so you won't miss anything watching the show. Anything that starts up early in the morning will have plays up on the Patreon page before we get to the actual live show on that day.
All right, great stuff. Yeah, very good. And yeah, we're going to get everything posted pretty early. Same thing with Friday. We'll have early picks up on the Patreon page for those early Friday games. So very important to point that out. Just like it's important to point out, check out wizardsportspicks.com. All kinds of great handicappers, an incredible roster, really, including me, Alex B. Smith, and Matt Robinson. Check it out. 3-0 sweep in all sports yesterday. We'll try to keep building on that today. Wizardsportspicks.com. Check out all the premium picks, and I will have a Thursday Beyond the Lines video on the Wizard Sports Picks YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. We'll preview the Turkey Day NFL football in that video for Thursday. So make sure you check that out. Wizardsportspicks.com and the Wizard Sports Picks YouTube channel. And, of course, patreon.com/IceGuys. Nope, the betcast is over. We can get that off the screen. There we go. Patreon.com/IceGuys, $10 per month. Again, goalie charts, totals charts, all the bonus content. Of course, our daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. So make sure you check it out. Just $10 per month. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. $10 per month. Get on board at patreon.com/IceGuys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. On Black Friday, that will start a sale where you get 30% off of orders, 70% or more. So this is the time to stock up for the holidays. You want to get a couple items for yourself, a couple items for family or friends. This is the time to do it. Black Friday, 30% off orders, $70 or more. That will kick in Monday at midnight on Friday. You can get that at the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code IceGuys. All right, bargain bin special of the night, another day with another bargain bin special. Cashing in, it was Sam Steele for Dallas last night, getting the job done for one of my bargain bin specials on the only game on the board. Certainly a lot more to choose from tonight. Alex, what do you like? Bargain bin special of the night.
Well, yeah, we got two of them to choose from. For me, let's go to Raleigh for the first one. You got Carolina taking on the New York Rangers, and finally got this spot in line where a player going up against his old team, Keandre Miller, anytime goal scorer, plus 750. Of course, he was banged up the first time these two teams met. I like him to get a goal here against his old club, plus 750. That's bargain bin special number one. Bargain bin special number two, we'll skate over to 1901 West Madison. You got the Wild taking on the Hawks, and I think that streak ends of the first goal of the game going to the Minnesota Wild. I like the Hawks to get on the board first. I like Connor Bedard to get on the board first. Now, I did grab this at plus 1,000. It's now 9-1 plus 950. So shop around and get the best price available. But like Connor Bedard, you get the first goal of the game for the Hawks tonight at anywhere around 950. And then also Keandre Miller anytime goal plus 750. My 2 bargain bin specials for tonight.
All right, there we have it. Bargain bin specials, 2 of them from Alex. Perlo, bargain bin special of the night.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that Washington-Winnipeg game, and Murray Barron's going up on the second line for Winnipeg. You can get that at plus 1,000 at FanDuel.
Did you say Murray Barron?
Did I say Murray Barron? Sorry. Barron.
You're showing how old we are. Morgan,
So,
I know.
geez, Chicago Blackhawks. My gosh, in the brain. Barron is. I'm going to take him for plus 1,000. So, when he goes up there, he scores. He's got a few goals this year. I think that's a great value. And I'm going to go to the Carolina game, and I'm going to take Carolina.
He's only 58 years old. We can call him up, see
Yeah.
what Murray's doing. Come on in. Come back to the NHL.
20,000
Play
probably
for
by
this
now.
Jets game. Yeah.
I can't tell you how hysterical that is because I am friends with someone who used to date Murray Barron.
Morgan
so that's absolutely hilarious that you got
Murray,
that.
Morgan, you know.
That's great. That's great.
All right. Carolina -1 second period at plus 330. I think you can get it at is my second bargain bin for today.
There you go. All right. So Morgan, not Murray Barron. For
Morgan, not Murray.
there we go. And no relation, by the way, in case anyone was wondering, between Morgan and Murray Barron either. But yeah, that's good. That happens that's all right. It shows you that we've watched hockey for a long time.
Yeah.
It's good. That we're not just Johnny come lately NHL hockey fans and bettors. We've been watching it for a really long time. So that's why it's good to have little moments like that. All right, bargain bin special of the night. I'm going to go to the last 2 games. Braden Bowman is bargain bin material at plus 300. It's that simple. He's been that good for Vegas, and the fact he's plus 300 right on the button to score tonight for Vegas, we're taking him. Braden Bowman, Vegas plus 300, and the other one's the last game with the last player I talked about, Mason Marchment for the Seattle Kraken plus 450 against his old team, the Dallas Stars. So there you go. Braden Bowman, Vegas plus 300, Mason Marchment, Seattle plus 450 for my bargain bin specials of the night for this huge Wednesday night slate. All right, best bets. We both cashed best bets yesterday, Alex and I, both on Dallas. Just he went full game, I went first period. The result was the same. Alex, what do you like here for best bet?
Let's go with that Anaheim Vancouver game. And you got Tolopilo in net for Vancouver. I think Anaheim's going to have a feast with him. So give me that team total over 3.5 minus 125. That's the best bet for tonight.
All right, good stuff there. All right, Burlow, best bet.
That was mine too, but I'll go Anaheim in regulation, and I'll take that Detroit in regulation. Those would be my 2 for today.
All right, let's go with 2 best bets. Why not? We're not here tomorrow. I sometimes do this when we don't have a show the next day. Let's go with 2 best bets, 1 total, 1 side. The total is going to be Montreal, Utah, over 6, minus 120. 11-1 run for overs in Montreal games. We'll see if we can keep riding that here tonight. And the other one that I'm going to go with is Jets. Woo, woo, woo.
Oh,
Jets.
nice.
Winnipeg Jets plus 130. I like this spot. I like this price. They go on the road after a couple of home losses. They played Winnipeg real well last year, won both meetings head-to-head against the Washington Capitals. Taves talking about we got to play a little better, a little harder, and help out Eric Comrie a little bit more. Who's going to get the start in net for the Jets here tonight. I think it's a good price. I like the spot. Washington against a Western Conference team, winning a few in a row, a little dopey, a little flat maybe right before Thanksgiving. So Winnipeg plus 130 against Washington, and Montreal, Utah over 6 for my 2 best bets here for this Wednesday slate. All right, great stuff, great shows. Before we wrap it up, happy Thanksgiving to everyone south of the border. Have a great holiday. Enjoy it tomorrow with family and friends. And make sure you're back here with us Friday at the special start time for our return post-Thanksgiving here on the Ice Guys. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week. Monday delayed start, but Tuesday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. The Friday show, remember, is noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith and Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy the games and good luck. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the United States, and we will see you again Friday noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.